Hello, folks. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm I'm gonna talk about something that probably I'm hoping that I come across in the right way, folks. It's called the narcissist tries to make his partner have sex against their will. Well, that's just because that's another one of their control mechanisms, folks. They do it because they can, because they know that you're afraid of them and stuff. You're afraid that they're going to do something bad to you if you don't do it. That's another way of them getting superior attention from you, and this is why they do it. And if you have any suggestions on why you think they do it, folks, you can leave a reply in the reply box. And if anybody has had any problems with their narcissist forcing you to have sex, you can leave a reply in the reply box and let me know. But that's just another power grab on their part, folks, to keep you under their control. Narcissists are going to do what they can to make you feel like you're below them. They might call you names. They might hit you. They might cuss you out. They might make you feel real bad about yourself just to get you to make you do that. And some of them will participate in porn, folks, because I had one that did, the one I lived in Lebanon, Kentucky with. He participated in porn, and he also had, I don't really want to name what it was or anything, but he also liked doing something that I didn't, and so he wanted to know if I would, and I refused to, folks. And he knew that if he tried to do anything against that, that was forcing me to do something that I didn't want to do. And I'm not sure, but he didn't try to participate in it when I refused. But he didn't care about anything, folks. He was a malignant narcissist. He didn't care enough to get a job or care enough to do much of anything except lay around on his computer all the time while I mowed grass and done the garden and cleaned the house, did all the cooking and things like that. He didn't care what happened. He was so far into pornography that he didn't have time to mow the grass outside. So he was just a real lazy narcissist. And I'm not saying this to be mean or make it sound like I'm being mean, folks. I'm just being straight up about it. But yeah, that's what they do, folks. They just they use what do you call? How do you say that word? Coercive control, and that's name calling and bringing you down below their level by making you feel bad about yourself. Um, Name calling and just a whole bunch of stuff, folks, which is what all the ones that I had did. I've been called a bee. I won't say the word. You guys know what that is. I've been called everything by them, folks. I've been told that I was no good, that I probably would never be able to get a job, or I wouldn't be able to do whatever I wanted to do. And I knew I could deep down inside, folks, but they want you to feel that way about yourself. That's how they do. They use sex against you too, in a way that's perverted, and just try to do everything they can to make you feel like a scared rabbit, backed up in a corner somewhere, and uh, having to give in to everything to the narcissist to keep yourself from being abused or whatever. But I don't know, folks. They will do anything that they possibly can, even the sex part, to try to control you with it, because that's just how their pattern is, folks. They have to be superior, they have to be top dog on everything. And that's why they do this kind of stuff. And anybody out here that's been sexually abused, I'm sorry that you guys had to go through that. That's not a very good way to live. And I'm trying to come up with the words to explain to you folks how they do. Uh, it's not only sex, they use a lot of things against you, folks. If you tell them too much information about yourself when you first get to know them or whatever, later on down the line, they'll use that against you, folks. And when you first meet them and stuff, it may sound like that they're really into you and into how you are and things like that, but no, they're really not. They're doing that to collect information that they can use against you later, because you know that they have a low grade of empathy. They're also grandiose and dangerous. I don't want to forget that word. That's probably at the top of the list. But folks, it's just like I said. I know I sound like I'm repeating myself, but I can't help it. These people, these narcissists, are not marriage material. They are not somebody that you can depend on the rest of your life to take care of you or whatever, because a lot of them, going back to the sex part, if they get tired of you, they're going to go out and line up a bunch of supply and have them lined up to where they will probably cheat on you, and then when they come home from cheating, you will be accused of doing the cheating. And that's how you know that your narcissist is probably 99% sure that he's cheating on you, is he will accuse you of doing it, which is something that the kids' daddy done on a regular basis. Even though I stayed in the house with my children practically 24/7 and didn't go anywhere, didn't drive nowhere, and he accused me of cheating with somebody. But that's just power grabs on their part, folks. There's just a whole list of them things that them narcissists do to you to hurt you. And it goes along with their pattern. There's a whole bunch of stuff that they do. They have a lack of empathy, and they just don't have no feelings, folks. And when you're with the narcissist, folks, they don't love you. You're the one that loves them, which means that you have a one-sided love affair. You're all by yourself in this game, folks. They don't love you. And I don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings, but you have to be straight up. and let people out here that's living in a dangerous situation like that, you have to let them know uh, what they're dealing with. And when it comes to the malignant narcissist folks, these guys are dangerous. They're going to be abusive in every way, even sexually. You know, just like myself, when I was married to my third husband, uh, he come up to me one time and was going to beat me up with a baseball bat. And, you know, he was okay when we first met and everything, and he seemed like a pretty nice guy and stuff. And he kept talking about he wanted to get married and all that stuff. He was rushing us into the relationship. And we didn't know each other very long at all, folks. We was probably together maybe 3 weeks or whatever. And then we wound up getting married, and as soon as we got married, his mask slipped. Because we got up one morning, we were eating breakfast, and I don't remember what we got into it over, folks, but we had like a spat like normal couples usually do, except for he wasn't normal. And one thing led to another with words being exchanged. And he told me, he said, I'll just take you out in the woods and beat you up and hang you up in a tree, and nobody will ever find you. And he would just make real stupid remarks, folks, things that would just, you know, that a normal person wouldn't say. And that's how they do, folks. And I don't know why. I always felt like something was wrong with me. I don't know why I stayed there with him, but I knew right then when he made that remark, I knew that I made a mistake by marrying this guy. And needless to say, that marriage didn't last but about a month, and I was out of there. So I never looked back on that relationship. I ain't never called him. Don't know where he's at. I did try to get a hold of him so I could get a divorce from him, but I can't find him anywhere. And they told me that if I got a divorce from him, I would have to be in Lebanon, Kentucky. And I can't find him there anywhere. But, you know, I don't ever want to see that guy again, folks, but because his daddy was the same way. His mom left his dad, you know, because I guess he was treating her like the one that I married was treating me, and that was my narcissist dad. And so she left him, and he come up there and got her and made her get a trailer and move back down there on the property so he could keep an eye on her, folks. Because he had done something. He cut his ex-wife's finger off. That's how bad he was, folks. So that tells you how cruel they are, too. But, yeah, his own mom took me off that property because I told her how dangerous he was getting and stuff. So she told me to come over there and spend the night with her and make up an excuse. And she told me that whenever she took her granddaughter to school that next morning, that she would take me wherever I wanted to go as long as I would, you know, get away from him, because she didn't want me living dangerous like that. So the next morning we got up. I took my stuff that I had and got in the car with her, and she took me where I wanted to go. So that's how I got away from him, and I never looked back either. He never bothered me anymore. I don't even know where he's at, folks. And don't care where he's at either. But I would like to get a divorce from him, though, you know. But yeah, that's how dangerous he was, folks. I didn't even know that he had cut his wife's finger off until I met his brother's wife. That was her sister that he had married. And she was telling me about it one day when I was talking to her after me and him had got married. And I said, no kidding. I said, I wish I'd have known this before I married him. I said, because if I'd have known that, I probably wouldn't have married him. But anyway, folks, I just wanted to get in here and make a video. I hope you guys have a good night and a blessed night too. You got this, folks. You're awesome. Bye bye.